again, it's April here and welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm April, I just said that, and I like to make art videos on here on YouTube, studio vlogs. I have an Etsy shop which is currently closed, it's going to be open soon, and I also have a Patreon, and I like to draw birds and landscapes and cute things and pop them on Instagram too. So today we're going to be having a nice little sit down, chill video talking all about art supplies. So this topic I have been wanting to talk about for quite a long time now, and I'm finally getting around to doing it. I've been vegan for about 3.5 years now, and when I first went vegan it was very easy just to focus on food and not worry about anything else. I mean, I typically focus on food most days anyway, but you know what I mean. Just thinking about food and like all the new things I could try, all the things I wasn't eating anymore was enough to think about. And then slowly I started thinking about the clothes I was wearing, the shampoo I was using, things like that, makeup, cleaning products, and finally art supplies, which I have to be honest with you was very low down on the list of things, because when I want something I buy it. And I never really thought about vegan art supplies before. I didn't even kind of really realize that they had animal products in, so I started looking into it. And the first time I did look into it was last year when I was going to buy some new gouache, and I thought, hey, I wonder if this gouache is vegan. So I did a bit of research online and found out that some brands weren't, some brands were, and some had like a mix, and I went from there. And someone commented in the video if I could talk about vegan art supplies, and I never even thought about it before, and I thought that is a fantastic idea for a video, so I popped it away into the back of my mind, and here we are today. So let's chat about one of my favourite things, art supplies. So why use vegan art supplies in the first place? One of the reasons is maybe you're just starting a vegan lifestyle, and like me, you've just realised that there's animal products in the art supplies you're using. I didn't even think about this, like I mentioned, for the first couple of years, and now it's definitely kind of on the top of my list. I mean, to be fair, I did buy some paints a while ago and I didn't even look, and then afterwards I kind of looked because I kind of forgot. But I mean, no one's perfect and these things happen, so you know, if you make a mistake, it's not a problem. Maybe you just don't want to use animal products. You think it's a bit weird that there's like animal glue in your sketchbook, or that you're using like a fox's tail for your paintbrush, and you just want to reduce that. Or maybe you're buying a present for a friend or a family member who you know is vegan and would appreciate a little bit of extra like research and care put into their gift. So there's lots of different reasons why we'd want to choose an animal-free product for our art, and hopefully this video will help you shift through the different brands and products to find what you're looking for, or maybe even just you're interested in the subject. So I hope this video is helpful for all of you. First, let's look at the difference between cruelty-free and vegan, and this also applies to other products like beauty products, things you use in the shower, cleaning, anything like that. So cruelty-free is when a product hasn't been tested on an animal, and vegan is when a product doesn't have anything animal based. So a product can be cruelty free but not vegan. Some makeups are cruelty free, but they may have animal products in them. So I just want to let you know that all these products are vegan, and I'm pretty sure all of them are cruelty free as well. Let's go through the list and have a quick look. First on the list is paintbrushes, which is probably the most obvious. You can get synthetic paintbrushes which are made from man-made materials, and you can get natural paintbrushes which are made from the fur or hair of an animal. And some of these animals include, well, let me consult my notes, hog bristles, mongoose, pony, squirrel, sable, wolf, goat, ox, camel, raccoon, rabbit. I'm sure there's some more, but that is a lot of animals to be picking their fur and their hair from and making brushes. And I'm not sure what the debate is between natural brushes and synthetic brushes. I think I've always picked synthetic brushes, mainly because they're cheaper. I don't really know much about brushes, I just pick the cheapest ones, and because I wreck my brushes. But if you guys know anything about this subject, let us know in the comments below, because I'm sure some, especially the watercolor artists or oil painters, you'll know a lot more about brushes than I will. Next up is sketchbooks or paper. Some paper, especially watercolor paper, is treated with a gelatin to help the paint not absorb into the paper, and gelatin is made from like the bones and the skin and everything of the animal, which is like melted down into like a gel. And then also some sketchbooks use animal glue, and I think the most common of this is rabbit skin glue, where they take the rabbit skins and they boil them until they're made into like a glue, and that holds the pages together. but you can, as we will see, get lots of paper and sketchbooks that are animal glue free, which is good. So moving on to paints, watercolour and gouache traditionally use honey to help their paints be re-wettable and keep them together. And then also some pigments in paint has animal products in. One I'm thinking of is ivory black, which I believe uses some type of glue. I haven't really looked into it too much as a binder. And then probably the most common one is ones that use bugs. So carmine uses the crushed cochineal. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. The insects which are native to South and Central America to get that red pigment. So those are some things that you need to look out for paints. Another thing I also found while I was researching for this video is ox gall, which is the bile of a cow, I believe, and that's used as a flow improver for some paints to help the paint flow a little bit better. So that's paints. Moving on to my favourite pencils. So it looks like in pencils the main animal based product would be wax, beeswax probably, and Google told me that is used both in wax pencils and in oil based pencils as a binder. But again, I'm not really a scientist, so I don't know if you would have guessed this by now, but I don't really know much about the subject. I just know what Google tells me to. So it looks like wax is used in pencils quite a bit. So moving on to inks, it looks like some inks, including Indian ink, use shellac, which is, I always used to think it was the bugs being crushed, but it turns out it's actually a resin that's secreted from one of the bugs. It's the female lac bug, it looks like, shellac, which I guess that's where the name comes from. So I used to use shellac a lot when I was a teenager in high school. I remember I used it a lot in paintings. I really enjoyed using it. And I found out it was made from bugs. And when I was younger, it didn't bother me. I was like, oh, that's cool. I've got bugs on my painting. But these days I try to avoid it. So those are the most common animal-based products that you'll find in art supplies. There are some more that I haven't spoken about, like casein, other things like that, just because I haven't used them and I don't really know what they're for. But those are the main ones that you'll probably see in your art supplies. Right, moving on to my favorite part of this video. Let's talk about my favorite art supplies, which are vegan. Now, a lot of these art supplies I bought when I was first starting out. They're very old. I wasn't looking into any of this stuff then, and they're just accidentally vegan. Just like Oreos, which is awesome. And then moving on a little bit later, like the last year when I've been looking, I've specifically looked for vegan art supplies. So these are my favorites. We're going to talk about paints first. So gouache, I absolutely love gouache and acrylic gouache, and all of the gouache I use pretty much is vegan, I'm pretty sure. So the first is the himi gouache, which is very new, but I have been using it pretty much constantly for the last 2 weeks since I bought them. And this is the product that I mentioned that I bought without doing any research. I was just like, want jelly gouache, buy jelly gouache. And when I was doing this video, I thought, oops, I should probably check before I make this video, and it turns out it is. So phew, that's fine. Next up is the love of my life, Holbein acrylic gouache. So there are two main acrylic gouache that you can get. The first is the Holbein acrylic gouache, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, and the other one is the Turner acrylic gouache. So I actually went with Holbein first just because a few people were using it on YouTube and I thought it looked cool. And I think Turner acrylic gouache came out a little bit later, and I have looked into that, and I believe some of the pigments aren't vegan, or maybe the entire set is, I'm not sure. I just remember that I read they weren't all vegan, so I'm sticking with Holbein gouache for now, which I love. I mean, look, it's amazing. It's Holbein acrylic gouache, it's amazing. I bought the Royal Talons gouache and the Caran d'Ache gouache, and I also had a few Windsor and Newton designer gouache. So all of those are vegan, and for that video I did a lot of research, and that's kind of like what started me off thinking about this kind of stuff. So I do want to mention that some gouache in the Windsor and Newton isn't vegan. A few pigments, especially ivory black and a couple of the Payne's grey, but I'm going to leave a list of resources in the description which will kind of help you figure out which pigments are and which aren't, because they're a bit of a mix and match, those guys. Moving on to watercolour, I don't use watercolour much, but I do have a bunch of Daniel Smith watercolour, which I really love. and some Windsor and Newton watercolor. All Daniel Smith's watercolors are completely vegan. They are a little bit pricey, but I really enjoy using them when I do. And the Windsor and Newton ones are the kind of like cheaper. This is professional. It says it's a professional series, but I think they are still a little bit cheaper than the Daniel Smiths. And again, as with the gouache, a few of these pigments aren't. You just have to check online before you buy. And I believe that's all for paint. So let's move on to inks, which I have been super getting into lately. So the inks that I have been using are the Windsor and Newton calligraphy inks. They're all 100% vegan. I do have a few more inks that I bought at the start of my art journey because I was really getting into inks. And I did check before I made this video and they are both vegan too. So let's have a look. I have one of the sets of the PH Martin's ink and I really love these guys. They're so bright and colourful. And I also have a couple of the Ecoline inks, which are also lovely, a bit more pastel-y. And all of these guys are vegan, yay. Okay, next on the list is pencils. I'm only going to show, I have a lot of colour pencils guys, but I'm only going to show the two that I use pretty much all the time. So the first is the Caran d'Ache in this cute little cup. The Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils, this entire range is vegan, which I'm so happy about. I did check before I bought them and I love these guys so much. They have become my favourite colour pencil, absolutely 100%. Then next on the list are the Faber-Castell Polychromos. This was the first pencil set I bought myself. I have the entire set, but I have these two little pots here that have all of my favourites in, probably like 20 or so pencils. Again, completely vegan, which is nice. Markers, okay. I don't really use markers much. I've kind of gotten into them a little bit. The ones I'm going to show you, again, I mean, this is the video, they're vegan. So, Tombows, love them. I had a bit of research before this video and I found out Copic markers vegan, which is good because I have heaps of them. I don't use them though. Other markers include the Ecoline water brush markers and the Mothertown markers. I couldn't find anything on Posca pens. I did have a quick look online, but I couldn't find any information one way or the other. So that's still a mystery to me. And to you, I guess. Another product I love using is the Caran d'Ache Neocolor crayons. These are the Caran d'Ache Neocolors 2. I didn't look at one, but I'm assuming they're made kind of similar, so they would be, but double check if you have the ones as well and you want to see if they're vegan. But these guys are another thing I'm very grateful for because I love them a lot. Last on the list is sketchbooks, which I have in front of me here, although by that point in this video I literally have all of my art supplies surrounding me. Bit of a mess. So these are the three favorite sketchbooks I have. I use them a lot. I do have some other sketchbooks. I do have a lot of sketchbooks that I haven't looked into, I haven't done any research on. I just wanted to show you my three favorite ones that I'm using right now. So my first favorite was actually gifted to me. It's the Etcher sketchbook. It's just a big glowing white box right now, but the Etcher sketchbook is really nice. It's beautiful paper. I absolutely love it. And 100% vegan, it even says on the box, which is cool. Another more affordable option, because the Etcher sketchbook is quite pricey, is the Royal Talons Art Creations, and these come in different sizes, different formats. You can get them square, you can get them A4, you can get them A5, and the paper is a little bit, it's not the best for mixed media, but for sketching and pencils and things it's really good, and I love them. I just bought 3 more for this year, so that's a great one. And the third one that I really love using as well is the Strathmore Mixed Media Sketchbook. So this one here is a little bit better for wet material, good for sketching, but it's also good for mixed media. It's a really nice sketchbook, and all of those have been verified by Google vegan. So I think that's everything for all of my favorite art supplies. I do have a ton more, but I just wanted to show you these because these are some of the favorite ones that I use, and they're pretty common. Like, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of most of these art supplies, or you have them yourself. And just to show you that it's not hard to buy vegan art supplies, you just have to go a little bit out of your way when you're buying something new, just to like double check like you would with anything. So I'll just leave you with a few resources, which I'll also pop into the description. One website that I use a lot in the UK is Jackson's Art. I think you can use it pretty much all over the world, but Jackson's Art is an awesome website, and they also have a little box on their filter that you can check. So if you're searching for alcohol based markers, you can type that in and you can tick vegan and it will just come up with all of the vegan art supplies under your search. And then there's also obviously Senor Google. For most of the things when I was doing this video, I wanted to double check things. I literally just typed in, are Caran d'Ache Neo Colors vegan, or is Strathmore Mixed Media Sketchbook vegan? Just so I could double check to let you guys know. So Google is your friend. And another couple of blogs that are really good, they have massive comprehensive list of vegan art supplies, is the veganwomble.com and also doublecheckvegan.com. So I'm going to leave both of those in the description below. And that was the video on vegan art supplies. I hope that you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something new. Let me know what you thought. Is this something that you maybe are going to be doing in the future, or you do already? Let us know any other products that are your favorite that are vegan. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.